Hills. This is my first video giving you an introduction to cellular respiration. So as we start off with most things, we start off with our study design. I've only got 3 dot points for this lesson today, but I'm going to break it up into a couple of videos for you. So the first one, I'm just going to do an introduction to cellular respiration, followed on by glycolysis, then the mitochondria. We'll do those 3 videos first, and that constitutes what I would get through in about a normal lesson. So, what is cellular respiration? Cellular respiration is kind of this bunch of reactions that help us to break down food, and in particular, we want to create this thing called ATP. Okay, that ATP just there. Now, we've talked about this. Now, I would like you to pause and think about the answers to these 3 questions. So I'm just going to presume that you've done that, and then you would start up again. Welcome back. So the usual food source for this type of reaction is going to be glucose. Okay, so you can tick yourself off if you got that one. What do we use this energy for? Just about everything. So I'm going to show you a slide in a second that goes through all the uses of ATP. And then what kind of reaction? So is this an anabolic reaction or is this a catabolic reaction? So think about it, we're breaking down glucose. So this would be a catabolic reaction. Okay, so here are some of the uses of ATP. We can use it to do things like muscle contraction. So this can be muscles in your gut. This could be muscles in your heart. This could be your diaphragm to help you to breathe. Yeah, this could be skeletal muscle. So skeletal muscle is the normal muscle that we think of. We could also use ATP to help us send transmissions around our nervous system. So our nerves rely on ATP to make them function. There's also a lot of active transport that's happening up here. Okay, in our digestive system. So I'm just going around the circle here, down in our digestive system, we do this thing called peristalsis. So those of you that did Unit 1 and 2, you might remember this. Peristalsis is the contraction of the muscles around your esophagus, around your small intestine, and it helps to squeeze the food down the tube. So without ATP, you can't digest your food. You also can't do any secretion of your enzymes. So amylase, pepsin, trypsin, lipase, any of those can't be secreted without the use of ATP. And then again, we've had it come up again, here is active transport across membranes within our digestive system. Let's just keep going. You can use your excretory system. So we don't talk a lot about this in the 3-4 course. Sorry guys. We don't talk a lot about this in the 3-4 course. What this is your weeing. Yeah, so this is your kidneys. So we need to actively reabsorb water. If we don't do that, we'll wee out too much and therefore become dehydrated. We also need to actively get rid of ions and things that we don't really need in our body. So ATP is really useful for that. The next section we're going to look at is new tissue and structure production. So without ATP, you can't make any of my nails, which I wish I could get done right now. You can't make any new hair. You can't repair wounds. You can't make new blood in case you get cut and you lose some blood, and you can't make any new skin. So it's very, very important for that. And then the last bit is a bit that we've focused on a lot already, the manufacture of chemicals. Without this, how can you make an enzyme? Yes, think about protein synthesis. Protein synthesis is the building up of a protein from amino acids. So if you can't build up your amino acids and join them together, then you may as well not be able to function. So ATP, pivotal for all of these things, and that is the purpose of cellular respiration. What I'm going to leave us on here is the fact that cellular respiration is going to occur in all living cells all of the time. If you are not doing cellular respiration, that cell is not alive. Okay, and that comes back into play later on. There are 2 little ones that I was asked us to think, pair, share. These are in your notes. What's the difference between respiration and breathing? If you want to stop, have a think, write down your idea, and then check. you can do that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about respiration. Respiration is the process. This is the chemical process that we're talking about right now. So you can always check the answers of the section of the notes just to make sure you get a longer version of this. And then the second one is breathing. Breathing is literally air coming in and out of our lungs. Now, the confusing thing is we often talk about the respiratory system, and the respiratory system has to do with breathing. It doesn't have to do with respiration. So respiration is the chemical process that we're talking about. Breathing is the air moving in and out of our lungs. The last two words that I'm going to talk about here are what's the difference between aerobic and anaerobic. Aerobic is exactly what it sounds like. It's got air in it, okay? So you need oxygen for this one to happen. With anaerobic, by putting an A in front of something, so you've got like biotic and abiotic, by putting that A in front, it means without. So this is stuff that happens without oxygen. The reason it's not aerobic is because that sounds really weird. And in English, we know that we put an instead of a before another vowel. So that's why we talk about anaerobic. So here's the last little bit here. You can see that we've got two different types of respiration we need to look at. We need to look at aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration, and they are completely different. I will step you through each one at a time. Aerobic produces a lot more energy compared to anaerobic, but it's really slow. And this is where I'm hoping we end up. Okay, this is a big picture. I'm going to break it down slowly over the next couple of videos.